Welcome to round 1 of this daily event with Mono Blue Control. We're going to play first. We're playing against Ninfo. Not very familiar with him. And this is a tricky one. We have 2 spells we can play. It is a 1-lander on the play, and I tend to be a little bit opposed to those. This could easily steal the game with another land. But this deck mulligans pretty well. We tend to have a lot of spells we can cast. We do have these 2 3-drops that might hold us up. So I'm actually going to go to 6. I know this is a promising hand, but it's a little too risky. And this hand is very interesting. We're going to keep this one. Going to try it out. Triple Delver hand. Could be very, very powerful. Our opponent might not actually even be here yet. So let's just go ahead and talk a little bit about what this hand could do. The first Delver could flip, which means we'll have an instant or sorcery in hand, and most of our instants or sorceries are pretty good. It could not flip, netting us potentially a creature. We can actually play out the 2 other Delvers on turn 2, and that's really only going to be poor against something like an Echoing spell or a Seismic Shudder type effect. So our opponent's not mulliganing. We're not going to mulligan either. Let's go ahead and get running. And we're going to lay out the first Delver of Secrets. And we're going to pass to him. And he's also a blue deck, casting a Preordain. So he might actually be Storm. He might be Post. He keeps 1 card, passes back to us. So we're going to auto yield. And looks like we're a little bit frozen here. Let's make sure our connection's okay. Looks like I'm disconnected, so I'm actually going to have to restart. Oh, no, I am connected. I am going to reveal the counterspell. And now I think we can just leave up counterspell if we like. Though our opponent probably isn't going to have too many turn 2s I care about. I'm actually fine playing out these 2 other Delvers. Even if he is Storm, he's going to have to exactly have Seismic Shudder, and that's still only, or Post, it's still only going to net him a 2 for 1. So if he is Post, it's going to be very hard to win. This is probably one of our best chances to actually win. And we have a counterspell. The counterspell doesn't really do much against a turn 2 Post. Stops maybe a Prophetic Prism, maybe a removal. So now he's in the tank. He actually is probably Storm with as much as he's thinking about his turn. He's trying to figure out if he can actually go for it or not. I have an idea that he's Storm. He's actually Post, so seems like we're having some lag issue though, which is very troublesome. It's actually really bugging me. I think he's lagging from what I can tell. So let's hope these both flip. And they don't. We get an island. So let's go ahead and attack him. Like I said, this is going to be very tough to win, especially with only a pair of relevant cards. We play the island there because of Spire Golem. The more islands we lay down, the cheaper Spire Golem is going to be. And he's got a Post, and he's going to play a Compulsive Research, it looks like. Seagate Oracle we will let resolve. If it was a Research, I'd probably counter it, but the Oracle itself is only going to block Delver on the ground. I'm hoping for it to flip within... that's actually one of the worst cards to draw, because it doesn't do anything here. And we cannot attack. So I'm going to lay it down while we have it. While we have protection from a counterspell. And from there, he knows our last card, unfortunately, and he's got 7. So I don't like our chances here. We're going to go ahead and let that resolve as well. Again, we just want to fly over right now, and we have only 1 counterspell to interact with him. So it looks like he's probably going to bounce the Glimmer Post. and an island. So our draws have been pretty god-awful. We're going to play the island as well. Again for Spire Golem, but also against posts they have a number of threatening things like Capsize and Ulamog's Crusher. So if this is a Mole Drifter, I'm going to counter it. A Mnemonic Wall, I'll also counter. That'll get him another removal spell, which we don't really want to see. And we flip another island. Wow, this is the worst ever. So I am just going to play it here. He's got pretty much free reign. And we're looking pretty rough. Like, this is, as I mentioned in the deck tech, a pretty rough matchup. Game 1, it's almost impossible to win. And he's going to play a Mole Drifter, which is going to resolve. And he's on 7 cards to our 0. And I'm just about ready to pack this one up. I mean, we do have the opportunity of getting him to run time down on his clock, which I think is good. Let's go ahead and cast this Accumulated Knowledge. And we'll use the Quicksand. We're not going to Quicksand any of his guys. I mean, we later have the option of trading with that. I'm going to just start holding the lands in case we draw Una's Grace. And no attack. He's got 4 power on the board here. And he's going to start going wild. I mean, he's just light years ahead. This is his stage of the game to win. To really take over. And he's got 3 prisms, a post, so he's got 3, 5, 7, 9 mana currently. And he's just going to send in the Seagate Oracles. He's actually not, so that's fine. Now we get to draw 2 cards, which is nice. And one of them is a Serrated Arrows. Now we can play it now and start attacking. We just lose Deprive next turn if he has something along the lines of Crusher. So I'm actually going to play this land and I'm going to pass the turn. Next turn I'm going to play arrows with Deprive backup so we can start attacking. And Preordain is going to resolve. Mole Drifter, I'm going to fight over. Looks like he's got another one anyway. Seagate Oracle. Just going to draw him a card. And it's going to be our turn. So we can now try and resolve this Serrated Arrows. I don't think we need to play out the other land. We're at 18, so we're still somewhat safe. 4, 7, 9, 10, 11. So he can only do so much with the Rolling Thunder. This we're also going to fight over. Sadly, we have to show the Dispel, and we could have gotten around that by simply playing the land. So he doesn't block, which is good. We can start holding off these creatures if we want. Compulsive Research. And he's going to pitch a Mountain. He's got a Serrated Arrows of his own. I'm going to go ahead and pack it up. We're actually burning more time on the clock than he is. And there's no real reason to fight over game 1. Some reason we're lagging a bit. I have to apologize for that. But such is life. Actually got a bit of a guide here for this matchup. So I'll kind of walk through what we're going to take out. First thing we're going to take out is one copy of Curse of Chains. He is playing a number of creatures, but I'm not too worried about the creatures that he showed us. They don't have too much power. We're also going to take out two Una's Gate Warden. These are decent in most matchups, but here we're not too worried about his creatures. Again, he's got 1 power and 2 power creatures. Doesn't present a threatening clock to us. We're also going to take out 4 copies of Piracy Charm. This can be used to discard, but I feel like he's going to draw so many cards already that it's pretty negligible. It's pretty marginal how effective that's going to be. And then 2 copies of Serrated Arrows. Might be better off with this in the deck, but because of the number of creatures he's playing, but at 4 mana it's a little expensive to rely on. So what comes in here is our alternate game plan, the Curse of the Bloody Tome, all 4 copies. We're also going to bring in 2 copies of Dispel to help us fight over the curse, fight over a counterspell war, as well as 2 copies of Hydroblast for that same reason. He might, he probably will be playing Pyroblast. Can also counter things like Rolling Thunder. And lastly, we're going to bring in this Relic of Progenitus. Negates his Mnemonic Walls, his flashbacks, all that. So we're going to try this configuration. Curve still looks pretty nice. And we do have some creature contingencies in these 4 cards and blockers. So let's submit and we'll go to game 2 here. Alright, welcome to game 2. We're definitely playing first. And this hand we can keep. We have some selection. We have a threat early. I'm not going to mulligan. We have lands. He's going to keep as well. And we'll go ahead with turn 1 Delver. Though that is not what we're planning to do to win the game. Now let's see what he leads on. Probably a Cloud Post. Actually going to go with the Island first. So he must have something along the lines of Preordain. Gitaxian Probe. Alright, so that's good. He doesn't see the Curse. He does see that we have Hydroblast. We're going to go ahead and auto yield. It's another Delver, which might be nice. We are at risk of being hit with a Seismic Shudder. So the question is, do we want to leave up Hydroblast? The alternative is to Preordain so we can set up both of these. But I think we play enough instants and sorceries, even in that last game where we didn't flip for a long time. In general, that's not going to happen as much because we do play so many instants and sorceries. So he's going to cast a Prophetic Prism, and we're hopefully going to flip with both of these. If we get an early enough flip, we can get ahead. It's an island though. Which is okay. We're going to go ahead and attack him first, then we'll Preordain. Try and set up this to flip next turn. So we got a Counterspell and a Truth. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip, revealing the Truth, and we're going to keep Counterspell in hand. And that's pretty nice. We might actually be able to protect these long enough to win the game. Especially if he's short on lands, which I don't think he is. I actually think he's got enough lands to the point that he's trying to figure out what he wants to do. He's actually got another Prism. I could counter that at this stage, but I'm fine letting it resolve. The Counterspell is now going to be protecting our Delvers. He finds a Cloud Post, so we can actually Knowledge. Actually, we don't want to Knowledge because we know we're going to flip. So let's go ahead and flip on this. And now we're going to attack with 2 counterspells backing us up. And he's got 2 turns to deal with our current threats. So sometimes Delvers can be pretty effective. So he's now got, looks like, Serrated Arrows. I think we're just going to have to counter that. He may have a Dispel, which would be unfortunate. And this looks like a burn, which we are going to counter as well. So he's got one turn to do something, and now we have a dispel. So let's go ahead and attack him. We can also Echoing Truth our creatures to save them. But he gains 3 life, which is unfortunate. And here comes Seagate Oracle. That's going to resolve. He's got 3 mana left. He's still on 2 turns. Well, I think we're going to try and protect. And now he's got another Seagate Oracle, which is fine. He played a land already, I think. Yeah, he played Glimmer Post. So let's just go. Well, hang on. We'll let that resolve. We're going to go ahead and cast Accumulated Knowledge. And he's on 4 cards. And there's a Curse of the Bloody Tome. I don't know if we want to reveal that. If we do reveal it, he's going to know we have it. But if we don't, then we have enough mana to try and protect this plan, and he might not even know about it next turn. So he's going to preordain. That's going to resolve. See what he does with the preordain. Bottom. Top. So looks like he's got something. Red. Well, I feel like we can let one of them die. And then he has to kill the other one as well. And this we're going to attempt to counter. Do we have the victory? He's on 3 cards. 1 mana in his pool. And we get game 2 without having to show him the Curse of the Bloody Tome, which is very nice. So he's brought in a lot of Pyroblasts. He still thinks that we're on a creature plan, which I think we can kind of trip him up by playing Curse on game 3. We will be on the draw, which is unfortunate, but not a lot we can do. I actually think I want to keep the deck as is. Those counter spells ended up being very good for us. So let's go ahead and submit and try and take over game number 3. So welcome to game 3. We've been having a lot of weird computer issues. And I don't know if it's the client, I don't know if it's my internet. But he goes to 6. I actually think this is completely keepable, so we're not going to mulligan. We see an extra card. We get a preordain turn 1. And he keeps his 6. Hopefully it's a little shaky. Getting red. Just revealing it to us right there. So there's Curse immediately. I think what we want to do is try and find some more counter magic. We got a Deprive and an Echoing Truth. Now, one of the problems with preordaining this early, we don't really know if we want these. I imagine we can keep one of them as a way to protect the curse, or we can opt to keep both. I think we can actually keep both here. Both are going to be somewhat relevant at some point in the game. And he's going to play a Prism. What we're hoping to do is resolve Curse at some point early on. As in next turn. You know, hopefully he taps out, but it doesn't look like he's going to. So let's go ahead and Knowledge. What I think we're going to do next turn is play Spire Golem. And we don't really care about whether or not it gets countered. We also could just hold it. Let's see. Next turn he could have something like Muldrifter. We can actually play the Spire Golem next turn with counter backup, which I think will be fine. So yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's going to pass the turn. We don't have anything to do at instant speed. So let's go ahead and play the Spire Golem, and then we have backup afterwards. It resolves immediately, so I actually don't know that he has any counters. But he is gaining life. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's just sitting on it. He's got 2 blue. I think I'm going to wait one more turn to play the curse, because then we have 2 counter spells to protect with it. We have counterspell and dispel. And he seems, I don't know what's going on, but he's passing the turn a lot. I think he's definitely at least got capsize. I don't know what else. But we're going to go ahead and fight with this curse. He does have a lot of blue, and that resolves. So it's very strange that he's just sort of F6, and we already milled a Pyroblast, so I feel pretty good about that. One thing is, it's nice to do things on your own turn in a counterspell war situation, because they need to have one extra counter than they would already have. For one thing, they have to counter the initial spell you cast. Here we have 7 mana, so do we really need 7? We only really need 5, though having the truth also helps. I don't even know that we need to preordain at this stage, so let's go ahead and attack them, and then we have 7 mana to cast all of this. We'll go ahead and play the land. So he's being hit on 2 different linears. We actually mill a second Pyroblast, which is pretty insane. He's got a lot of mana, but not really doing anything with it. So here we find another land. I'm going to go ahead and play it now and preordain. We find a relic and an island, and I don't think we need the island, but I'm fine with the relic. And we'll play that after combat. So now if it resolves, we have a lot of protection against him, recurring something. So we mill a Serrated Arrows and Electrostatic Bolt. And he's going to go ahead and Flame Slash this. That is fine with me. I really don't care about that. The game plan is Curse of Chains. We're not trying to kill him with damage. So we're going to go ahead and Relic him at the end of turn. Yeah, major lag issues. He exiles Preordain. And we're just going to sit on this million counterspell hand. And I don't know that he's going to be able to get out of it. We get a Mole Drifter. That's nice. And I have no idea what's in his hand. It's got to be something... I mean, honestly, he's probably got Rolling Thunder in hand. We can cast this for free. We might as well. And he's on 4 cards. We're on 5, and they're all counters, which is pretty insane. He loses an Oracle and a Preordain. And he's just still passing. I think he's going to bide his time until he can make a massive counterspell fight, which is not a bad idea at all. And we've played Accumulated Knowledge already. I don't think we need to draw 2 cards right now. We can do it at his end step, instead of leaving our mana tapped for our turn and his turn as well. So let's go ahead and pass. Move this over, move this over. He's going to Teachings now, and I don't see an issue with countering the Teachings. I think what we want to do is counter whatever he casts with that. And now it looks like he's going to cast another Teachings, which we can fight over, or we can fight over the Pyroblast. It might have been the case that I wanted to exile the Teachings. We didn't really have any time to respond to that. We got 12 minutes. We need to decide what we want to do. We can counter the Teachings with the Dispel. We still have 3 more counters and an Echoing Truth. 3. Let's go ahead and Dispel the Teachings. Now we've milled him to 28. And we know he has Pyroblast in hand. He's gaining life, which is fine. And he's going to pass. Normally, I would cast Accumulated Knowledge, but that's going to leave me a little vulnerable. So I might cast it on my main phase. I actually have another curse here. And he's got 5 cards, but I want to leave up these 3 counter spells. So we also have the Echoing Truth. I think I'm just going to sit on it, though this other curse would be really nice to resolve. Man, it's a tough call. Let's just protect this first one. He might have another Teachings, or a Capsize, it looks like. Capsize. Let's fight over it. We'll use Deprive first. Dispel. Now we're going to use a counter spell. And if he shows another counter that isn't Pyroblast, we're kind of in trouble. So I think we're going to let Capsize resolve. What I will do right now is cast Accumulated Knowledge to see what we draw. Because we could draw a couple Dispels here. We draw another counter spell. So I'm fine actually letting that resolve. And then what we can do is play Curse next turn. Because he still has to kill us before he gets milled to death. Man, this is slow. Capsize his own Prism. Yeah, I'm going to let that resolve. Prism. He should probably actually start capsizing my lands just so he can get further ahead. But now he really can't protect from these curses. I mean, he's seeing a lot of his deck, don't get me wrong. Strangely enough, I'm the one that's running out of time. Alright, let's go ahead and just start playing these. We have double counterspell, and we have Echoing Truth. I think we can leave up double counterspell for now. And we have the option of relicking him. And each turn we can play another counter. Or another curse. And each turn he's going to get milled. Wow, I can't believe how slow my computer's going. I really apologize. Will we at least get a counterspell out of him? That's going to resolve. That's fine. We're just fighting over curse at this point. He can't kill us by the time we mill him these 18 cards. So, especially because that just drew him 2 more cards. Sure, we're gonna let that happen. We've got a blocker, and he's running out of mana to fight with. So I think he's gonna see that it's really an uphill battle for him, especially if he wants to use Capsize. We still know that he has this Pyroblast. And only 15 cards left. I guess he's going to fight over Capsize, and he knows that he can. Okay, that's going to resolve. He's on 14 cards. And how much mana? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Seagate Oracle. And 6 mana, so capsize is not happening. I think this is actually going to work if we can make it in time, which I think we can. We draw another land. I'm fine with that. I'm going to curse him again. And we could curse him one more time, but I'd rather leave up the 3 reactive spells and no attack. There's no reason to attack his life total here. Even him being milled 4 cards right now is very devastating. And we still have the clicking anytime he tries to get it all back. So he's on 9 cards in his library. I think this is actually going to work for us, which is pretty wild. 8 cards because he naturally draws one. So he's getting milled 5 cards a turn. And he has to kill us from 20 here. He's got 10, 13, 17, 18, 19. So he can Rolling Thunder for 19, but we obviously can counter. We also can Echoing Truth as Mole Drifters. So I'm liking our position. I'm not going to get too overconfident here. Looks like he's going for a main phase. Oh, nope. Alright, he's going to 7 cards. So if we resolve Curse next turn, we actually just kill him on his draw step. Pretty insane. Flame Slash Spire Golem's going to resolve. He can't kill me with damage with 7 cards in his library. So he's still tanking. Looks like he's going to cast another Mole Drifter. And he's pretty much dead on the draw step. I don't even need to cast Curse of the Bloody Tome number 3. But I'm more than willing to do that. So he's got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, he doesn't have enough to kill me with the Rolling Thunder here. So I missed that trigger, but I'm not even too concerned. I'm just gonna play this in case he wants to capsize and fight over it. We still have these 3 answers, so we're just gonna pass, and we should have the victory on his upkeep, or on his draw step rather. Looks like he's going for a capsize. And he can capsize 1, and it's actually not a big deal. The other 2 will still win the game. So we're going to counter. Even if he capsizes on the upkeep, they still go on the stack. So I think they'll still win. Looks like he's actually going to... So what I'm going to do is Echoing Truth these so that he can't kill me. I think I'm going to actually let that capsize resolve. Because I think what he actually has is Rolling Thunder. Which he may be able to beat me with. But otherwise he can't. I mean, if he has the Rolling Thunder, he's pretty much got it. Pyroblast I'm also going to let resolve because he still might get milled out, and what we have to protect against is Rolling Thunder. Him being on 4 cards means he can't really cast. He can't beat me with anything else. So I'm not worried. Well, Drifter will resolve. I'm really not concerned. You're going to have to do better than that to really scare me. Firebolt to the face. Sure. Still just chilling. This is gone, obviously. He's got 8 cards in hand. We got 8 minutes still, so I think we're going to be okay. We could force him to do that, but I don't see a reason. Again, I don't think he can kill me. He does have mana for double capsize. This is true. Actually, you know what? I'm going to draw a card with this before we do that, in case I can hit another counter spell. We actually draw another curse. So he's got 6. I mean, he's definitely got enough to bounce both of them. But even this will buy us some time here, I think. I mean, he can bounce this too. We're just going to try and counter it. Actually, we're not going to try and counter these. Again, we only die to Rolling Thunder, so... What he could do is try and bounce our islands, which might be a better play. He actually let that go, which is interesting. So we're dead to a Rolling Thunder. Serrated Arrows is fine. I don't know that we're dead to anything else. Maybe he feels like he's got the victory. I'm not sure. We're dead to a Rolling Thunder just by virtue of him bouncing the island, so we probably should have just passed on whatever. But he passes, so I'm just going to play out one curse. I don't need to play anymore. He thinks I'm going to win, or maybe he could be slow rolling me. But we want to make sure he doesn't have enough mana to capsize all my islands, which he doesn't. So if we get him on the draw step, we'll be fine. I mean, it doesn't matter if he bounces that. He doesn't even need to bounce that, because he needs to kill me pretty much right now. So, oh, I guess he gets one more turn. I see. Yeah, he had one card left. So we're going to 3. Oh, this is going to be tough. Actually, we may be dead. Oh, I hope he's not bluffing. I really hope he's not bluffing. See how narrow of a potential victory this is? I mean, this isn't even... I don't know what's going on. Alright, we get the match just barely by the skin of our teeth. I definitely misplayed at some point. I had to have. I don't think there's any way we could have been close. But I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you for the next match. I'm going to try and fix these issues here.